and welcome to Kids Online. I hope you had a fantastic, awesome, amazing week. And if this is your first time, welcome to Grace Point Kids Online. We are so grateful that you decided to come and join us today and listen to our exciting lesson for today. Now, boys and girls, before we do anything else, I guess it's time for us to celebrate you if you had a birthday. So let's go to our birthday board and make sure that your name's on there. Happy birthday to all of you. I hope you had a special week, a special day, and that you were spoiled rotten. Now, guys, our lesson today is all about consistency, a big word, continuously. And I'm going to teach you all about that. But one of the things about consistency, boys and girls, is about doing the same thing the same way all the time. Now, one of the things that we have to do every week, that is consistency, is to worship God with our money. Now, some of you are very little and you might just get a little bit of pocket money. But you know what? If you take 10% of that, and maybe you can ask mommy and daddy or an older sibling to explain to you what 10% is, and then you put it into your little money box. When your money box is full, give it to your parents and ask them to pay the money into Grace Point's account. Why do we ask you and your parents to help us financially? Well, first thing is so that I can stay online with you as well as Lolo and Vicky. The second thing is, if you decide to come back to church, you will find us here, and we have to pay for electricity and water and sanitizers and all kinds of things. And then you know what else we do? We do acts of kindness. That means we give some of the money to people who don't have food, don't have clothes, and we help and support them in any way possible. So your little bit of money can go a long way if we all put it all together. Okay, so I hope you've put your money into your little DIY money box. Let's pray for that money. Father God, we just thank you that we can be here today. Thank you that we can be online as well as in church. Father, as we pray and we worship you with our money, we just want to thank you for the privilege of giving to you, and to thank you that you provide for us as families so that we can give into your house. I pray that you will bless every single family out there. I ask for your favor and your blessing on their lives. In Jesus' name, amen. Now, boys and girls, before we go to Kezia for worship, remember that we are doing amazing new program here in Kids Church on the premises here at Grace Point. Unfortunately, you can only be part of that new program if you are here. Now, today, we are going to do our second Money Church. Remember, that is where we go outside and we go and venture and wonder and we find things that is part of our lesson for the week. And then we make craft that is part of nature. Next week, if you do want to come next week, this is going to be our second moving church, and that is amazing. We had one last week, and guys, it was so great. We didn't want to go home. We moved and we did games, we did worship, we did craft, we did a lesson. Oh, guys, we had so much fun with our moving church. So why don't you join us next week for moving church? We would love to see you for then. All right. Okay, let's go watch our little promo video quickly about our new program. Okay, so sit quietly and let's watch. Hello everybody from the Gen Now team. We are so glad that you are joining in and listening to our absolutely reimagining Gen Now. Are you ready to hear about all our exciting adventures and wonders that we are going to prepare for you every Sunday? Well, then you're at the right place. Well, boys and girls and family members, you know that we have been reimagining church here at Grace Point. And you know what? We've decided that Gen Now cannot stay behind. And so as from the 3rd of October, we have developed and designed and dreamed up an amazing new way of doing church here at Grace Point, and we want to invite you all to come back and come and join us as we do this new reimagining Gen Now Church. Now, everybody here that is with me is going to just give you a little bit of a glimpse of what you can expect when you come back to church.
Welcome, boys and girls. This reimagining church. So for me, the most exciting one I'll be discussing is about the moving church. Remember, the bigger kids, they have been on the journey at the Holiday Club last few years, because we didn't have last year because of the COVID, but you know how Holiday Club works. So this moving church will be like Holiday Club. You go from one station to another. So this will be exciting. So it's one part of the reimagining church here at Grace Point.
I'm so happy to do a new method of Medi-Church at Grace Point. I think all together we can enjoy it, and then we can be nice, we can be happy to do the things together as a Gen Now team. A Medi-Church is a church of doing things together to enjoy it.
So as we do this Gen Now Reimagine, we invite you to come along with us on the journey of Muddy Church, where we'll be outside and enjoying the adventures outside. Messy Church, where we'll be doing things intergenerationally with our families and doing church together. Also our Godly Play Church, where we'll be looking at some godly play style of doing lessons, and also our Traveling Church. And these will be some of the weeks that we'll be looking at over our new Gen Now Reimagine. And so we invite you to come along with us on this journey. Please look out for more information that you'll be getting from our Gen Now leaders over the next couple of weeks. We look forward to seeing you as part of this journey.
See you soon, everybody.
Bye.
Wow, guys, I hope you're excited like us to be part of this new program of Muddy Church and Moving Church and Godly Play. So please come back, and we would love to see you face to face. I would love to give you a high five with my elbow when I see you. So come on, venture out. Tell mom and dad it's time to come back. We would love to see you. All right. Right, Kezia is standing by, and she is ready with 2 amazing worship songs. Let's go and join her. See you after that. Bye.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Worship with Kezzy. My name is Kezia, but you can call me Kez or Kezzy, whatever you're comfortable with. And what is your name? Well, it's very nice to meet you, and if you are here for the very first time, hi! I'm so excited you guys decided to join us this morning. I hope you learned something new and that you have fun. And for all of you who have joined us for the past few weeks, hi everyone! I'm so excited you guys are back. I hope you learned something new and that you have so much fun with us. So, today we have 2 songs for you, as usual. And today's song is, well, the song is one we've done many times, and it's super easy. And if you don't know it, that is okay, because I will teach it to you right now. So we're gonna go. I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom over enemies, but I'm in the Lord's army. So, we're gonna go. I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom over enemies, but I'm in the Lord's army. And those are all the moves. So, are you ready? I didn't quite hear that. I asked, are you ready? Perfect, let's go.
I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never zoom on the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. I'm in the Lord's army, yes sir. I'm in the Lord's army, yes sir. I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry,
Was that not so much fun, everybody? So, the second song we're going to be doing today is called I Got the Joy, Joy, Joy. And that's exactly what we have today, right? Because it's such a special day. So, we're going to go. I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I got the love of Jesus in my heart, down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I got the love of Jesus in my heart. Then you go. I got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Way down in my heart. Way down in my heart. I got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Way down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I got the love of Jesus in my heart. And then, this part's a bit fast for me. So we're just gonna go. 1, 2, down in my heart. Way down in my heart to stay. We go 1, 2, down in my heart to stay. And then it's I am so very happy again. So, are you guys excited for this one? I know, I am. So, let's go.
I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart, down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. What else you got? I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart. I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart. Where? Down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart, down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got the wonderful love of my blessed Redeemer way down in the depths of my heart. Where? Down in the depths of my heart. Where? Down in the depths of my heart. I've got the wonderful love of my blessed Redeemer way down in the depths of my heart. Where? Down in the depths of my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart, down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart. I've got the love of Jesus in my heart.
And that is all that I have for you guys today on Worship with Kizzy. I hope you guys had so much fun because I know I had so much fun with you guys. Bye!
Phew, boys and girls, I love worship, but it can be quite exhausting, isn't it? But you know what, boys and girls, that's one way of me worshiping God and just thanking Him for who He is and telling Him how much I love Him. I hope you do the same. And you know what? During worship is usually the time that Jesus whispers His little love song back into our hearts if we just listen carefully. So I hope you enjoyed worship. Right, let's start our lesson for the week. Now, guys, you know that we are busy with at the movies, and our movie for this week is Rio with all those fancy birds. Now, if you look at the movie, it doesn't quite tell us our story for today, but I wanted you to get the idea of the birds, watching them, seeing them, look at what they are doing. Because our big words for today, for our lesson, is consistency and continuously. Consistently, continuously. Now, my little big people, you're going, what is those big words? I've never heard of those. Don't worry, boys and girls. I also had to go and look it up in the dictionary. But anyway, so I found a very easy way to explain to you guys what consistency and continuous means. It means this. It means doing the same thing the same way all the time. Let me say that again. Doing the same thing, the same way all the time. Now, when I think of the birds, if you watch Rio, they do some things the same way all the time. Let's think about birds, just in general. When it's winter, what do birds do? Every year, the same thing, the same way, all the time. They leave the cold weather behind and they migrate. That means they fly away to a place where it's warmer. When it's their winter on that side again, they come back to our warm climate. That is doing the same thing all the time. When they get back here, Mommy and Daddy Bird starts building a nest every year round about the same time. And you know, Mommy Bird knows exactly how that nest has to look and be to make sure that her little chicks are going to be safe. And so she pulls that nest apart, boys and girls, if she's not happy with it. And I have seen that happen so many times. But again, they're doing the same thing the same way all the time. Then when those little chicks are there, what do Mommy and Daddy do? They go and find worms. That is something they have to do all the time. And then, when those chicks are ready, they bump them out of the nest and they learn to fly. And so that whole pattern starts over again. And you know what, boys and girls? If our birds don't do that, we're going to see less and less and less and less of our birds because they will die out. They will become extinct if they don't do the same thing the same way all the time. Can you imagine if they don't go off to a warmer climate? They will freeze here and they will die. Can you imagine if Mommy Bird doesn't make sure that her nest looks exactly what it should be like? Halfway through, when the little eggs are in there, the nest might just fall apart and those eggs will break and there won't be chicks. Can you imagine if Mom and Dad decides this year, I'm not going to feed my chicks? What will happen, guys? They will die. And so, guys, these birds have to do the same thing, the same way, all the time, so that they can survive. And this, boys and girls, is our story for today, is that we need to do pretty much the same thing, pretty much the same way, all the time, so that we can stay connected to our God, to Jesus, our best friend. We need to do the same thing, the same way, all the time when we listen to hear God, to talk to God, to thank Him, to do acts of kindness. Because you see, boys and girls, if we do all those things the same time, the same way, all the time, we will be able to survive as Christians here on earth. If we don't, wow, boys and girls, if I don't pray to God every day, I'm going to not be able to get all the things that I'm worried about off my chest and tell Him about it, and He won't be able to do anything about it. If I don't read my Bible, I won't know what Jesus is saying to me, what I need to do when I face trouble or when I am sad. When I don't come to church, either online or here, wow, boys and girls, I will get disconnected. That means I'm going to be away from people who can help me, who will love me, who will accept me, who will be there for me and teach me how to be a better person, a better Christian. That's what Reverend Rivers and Samilo does. They teach us what is right and wrong. When you come to our class, I teach you what is right and wrong. Lulu helps you and Vicky helps you to see what to do differently. And that's why it's important to come to church. And then the other thing is, if we don't worship God with our songs, oh, guys, how can we say thank you to God? And then the other thing is, what about doing acts of kindness? Jesus says, if you want to be like me and you want to get the blessings in heaven, you need to look after people, because whatever you do for them, you do for me. So guys, those are just a few things that I quickly mentioned that we need to do like the birds to survive and be God's children. so that we can be strong and we can carry on. Because you know what, boys and girls, one day you are going to be mommies and daddies, and you're going to have to teach your children about Jesus, and so on and so on. But if we stop learning and we stop doing things the same way all the time, then you know what? You won't be able to tell your children and their children what to do, how to stay connected to God. So boys and girls, this is so important. Do you know, let me just tell you a little bit what the Bible tells us. Do you know that in the Bible, Jesus, in the Gospels, prayed 38 times? So he wanted to show us that it is so important to stay connected through prayer. Listen to this in 1 Mark verse 35. It says, early the next morning, Jesus woke and left the house while it was still dark. He went to a place to be alone and pray. Wow. So there we go, boys and girls. To stay connected, to do the same thing that we do the same way all the time, is that we have to pray. That's one of the first things. The second thing is, Jesus tells us how important it is to come to church and read our Bibles. Listen to this. In Mark 4, verse 16, it says, Jesus traveled to Nazareth, where he had grown up. On the Sabbath day, now the Sabbath day for us is Sunday, he went to the synagogue. Now that is like our church. That is just the Jewish church, our church. As he always did. Listen, as he always did. Can you see? Did the same thing, the same way, all the time. So he prayed all the time. He went to church and read the Bible all the time. Isn't it amazing? It says, he went to the synagogue as he always did. Jesus stood up to read the book of Isaiah. Wow, boys and girls. So there we have it. We have to pray. We need to come to church. We need to read our Bible. And then there's one more thing that I want to talk about, and that is doing acts of kindness. As I already mentioned that, Jesus showed us that that is so important. I want us to go to the storybook corner, and I want us to listen about the story of when Jesus did amazing act of kindness, when he fed 5,000 people, because a little boy did an act of kindness by bringing 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. Let's go listen. Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to my story about Jesus feeding more than 5,000 people. We find this story in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in the New Testament. Now, the disciples had just returned from going around villages telling people about Jesus and healing the sick. Jesus and his disciples got in a boat and sailed to a quiet place. A large crowd, many of them on their way to the Passover feast in Jerusalem, watched the boat and followed it around the coast on foot to meet Jesus. Jesus went up into the hills and taught them. He also spent time healing the sick. There were around 5,000 men in the crowd, plus women and children. Late in the afternoon, the disciples asked Jesus to send the crowd away to nearby farms and villages to find food and place to stay for the night. There is nothing to eat here in this deserted spot, they told Jesus. But Jesus replied, I want you to feed them. Turning to Philip, he asked, Philip, where can we buy bread to feed all these people? Philip replied, it would take a fortune to feed this many people. Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. There's a young boy here with 5 barley loaves and a couple of fish. But what good is that with all these mouths to feed? Tell everyone to sit down in groups of around 50, Jesus ordered. Jesus then took the 5 loaves and 2 fish, looked up into the sky and gave thanks. Then he broke off pieces for his disciples to give to the crowd. The disciples gave out the bread and fish, and everybody ate until they were no longer hungry. The disciples even picked up 12 baskets full of broken pieces that were left over. Then Jesus told the disciples to get into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After Jesus had sent the crowds away, he went up on a hillside by himself to pray. The end. Wow, boys and girls. Sure, I love that story and I love that little boy. He was not much older than you and watching me, but he realized that he needed to do some act of kindness to stay close to God. So this week, guys, this is the end of the lesson. I hope you're going to go and firstly watch Rio so that you can understand the birds and remember what they have to do, the same things, the same way all the time to survive. And then I want you guys, when we make our craft today and you've made your mobile, that you will hang it up somewhere so that you can remember the 5 things that we spoke about today. The same things that you need to do the same way all the time, like Jesus did, to survive as Christians, as a community. That means as all of us together, so that when we die, when we leave this earth, we can go to heaven and get all the blessings that Jesus have. And what are those 5 things? Pray. Pray always. Remember from last week it says never stop praying. Come to church, no matter if it's online or here face to face. Read your Bibles, because that's the way we can hear what God is saying to us. Prayer is us talking to God. The Bible is Jesus talking to us. And then, guys, worship God like you did with Kezi this morning. Worship Him. Worship Him with your time, your money, and your talents. And lastly, remember, do acts of kindness, because what you do for other people, you are actually doing for Jesus. All right, so we are going to be consistent continuously this week. I hope you have had a wonderful time. Go and enjoy the movie with Rio. But before you do, let's go and zoom to the Doodle Studio, where we're going to make 2 awesome crafts today. So don't go. Zoom with us. All right, are you ready? How to doodle. Just doodle it. Doodle kids. Bye! Welcome to the Doodle Studio, everyone. Okay, so our very first craft today is that we are going to remember all the things that we have to do all the time to make sure that we stay close to our Father in heaven. So the first thing you need to do is go and print down all the pages that you need for this craft, and you will find it on our kids' webpage. The second thing is we need to get some rope or some string. You can get anything that you can tie things with. Then you need some coloring in pencils. You need a pair of scissors, a punch, and then, strangely enough, a piece of twig, a twig. And it can be as long as you want to or as short as you want to. So quickly run into the garden, pause if you don't have a twig, and let's get going. Right, as usual, the first thing we need to do is cut out our 5 pictures. So off we go. Have fun cutting it out. Now, keep the shapes. Don't cut the shapes. So you're going to have a circle, you're going to have a heart, you're going to have a rectangle, a square, and a star, a little diamond star. So keep your shapes. You're going to see why. Right, boys and girls, if you've cut out all 5 your shapes with the praying hands, the Bible, the kids doing some good acts, a child worshipping, and then a family coming to church, then you can start coloring them in. Have lots of fun coloring in. You can decorate as much as you want. When you are finished, I would like you to take your rope, your string, or your whatever you have brought to attach stuff to, and cut 5 different lengths of string. So it needs to be 5 pieces of string, and they each have to be different colors. So this is what I want you to do now. coloring your pictures or decorate them as beautiful as you want, and then take your rope or your string and cut 5 pieces, but they have to be different lengths. If you're not sure what to do, why don't you pause and ask one of your older siblings or your parents to come and help you cut those 5 pieces of string and different lengths. Okay, boys and girls, now look at what we're going to do, our next step. We have already started. So, all your pictures are now colored in, and you had 5 pieces of string or rope that you have cut in 5 different lengths. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your pictures, and at the top of the picture, you're going to punch in a hole. Once you've punched your holes on all 5 of them, you are now going to attach them to the rope. But first, attach your rope, the one side of your rope, to your little twig. Can you see we have attached all 5 our pieces of string to our little twig. Then what we did was we started to tie our pictures that's now got a hole at the top, punched in. We have attached it to the bottom part of, or the remaining part of the string at the bottom. Look at this one. Vicky's going to show us to do the last one. And then, guys, what you will have is you will have your mobile that you can hang on somewhere. Firstly, to remind you about Muddy Church because of the twig. So we would love for you to come and do Muddy Church with us. And then the most important part is that there is 5 things that I want you to do the same thing, the same way, all the time. Remember what the Bible said? Jesus always did it. So there are the 5 things that I want you to always do so that we can survive as Christians here on earth. We're going to, because we need to talk to God, we need to hear God, we need to show Him how much we love Him, we need to do kind acts because we will get those blessings in heaven. And then as a family, we need to come and we need to worship God together. So now, guys, there we go. Look at our little mobile. Isn't it just beautiful? And it will blow in the wind, but it will teach us to come to church, read our Bible, do good acts, pray continuously, and worship God with our time, our voices, and our money. Isn't that just an amazing little thing for you to do? And remember, the twig tells us to come to church so that you can come and do Muddy Church with us. All right, boys and girls, this is our first craft done. I love this craft. I'll see you for the next one. See you now. That is beautiful. Don't you think that is beautiful? Welcome back, boys and girls. And now we're going to start our second craft for today. We are going to make our own Rio bird so that you guys can remember that just like they do the same thing, the same way all the time to survive, we have to do the same. So when you see your little bird fluttering in the wind, please remember what it stands for. Okay, so what do we need? We need to get our paper from our kids' webpage, go and print that off, and it's got all the instructions on there for you what to do if you miss out any of the steps online. Then we need some rope or string. We need some coloring in pencils. We need some glue. We need either googly eyes or some stickers. We need some feathers. Now, I would love for you guys to go and find some feathers outside to remind you of Muddy Church if you can. Otherwise, just any feathers will do. We need some scissors and we need a little punch. Okay, so what is the first thing we're going to do? As usual, we are going to cut out the 2 pieces that is going to become our bird. Okay, make sure that you cut everything out, even his little wings. So you're going to have 2 pieces, the little bird's body and the bird's wings when you are finished cutting out the picture. Okay, boys and girls, now you have your feather, your wings, and you've got your bird that you've cut out. The next thing we're going to do before we start coloring in is to make 2 holes. You will see on our little bird's body, there are 2 black dots. I want you to take your punch and punch a hole in exactly where the little black spot is. Don't do it with his eyes. It's on his body. At the top of his body, there's 2 little black spots, and you can punch it there. Perfect. Now, you will see what we've also done now, boys and girls. We have cut our string into 2 equal size lengths so that we can attach them to those 2 holes. So you can start by attaching it, but remember, we have to also attach it at the top. So we're going to just first attach it through the 1 hole, and then we're going to attach it through the 2nd hole, and then you attach it to the top together. You will take the 2 pieces and attach them together at the top. And then, boys and girls, you can start coloring in your little bird. Now, what I didn't say in the beginning was you could also print that page on a color paper like green or yellow or blue so that you don't have to color it in. So you can decide to either color your birdie in or print it on color paper from the start. If you've decided to print it on white paper, this is the time now to start coloring in your pictures. And there you can see, guys, Lolo has attached the 2 pieces at the bottom, each one in one of the holes, and then she is now connecting them at the top. And there you have your little bird hanging. All right, so let's start coloring in our little bird. You can use, guys, you can use glitter, you can use whatever you like. That you can color your bird or decorate your little bird so it can look like one of the Rio birds. All right, have fun coloring in. Right, boys and girls, now look what we've done. We have colored our bird beautifully into green, and now we have to just do a few things. And Lolo has gone ahead a little bit ahead of us, which is great. She showed us what to do next. Firstly, you are going to take as many feathers that you can find either outside, or if you have some like ours as colorful ones, but I would prefer you to go outside and be part of Muddy Church at home, and stick them all over the body on both sides of our little bird. So you can put glue all over the place, over his body. Remember, we have to do it on both sides because birds don't just have feathers on the one side of their bodies. Oh no, they have feathers everywhere on their bodies. So you can mix your colors, or you can decide to make the one side orange or whatever color you have, and then on the other side a different color, or like we are doing, we are mixing them all together. So let's look at that. Look how Lolo is beautifully decorating our little bird, and she's going to do it on the other side as well. And so you just have tons of fun putting on your feathers on both sides of our little bird. And then the last thing we need to do when our bird is finished is to put a sticker or a googly eye on our little bird's eye. And if you see, remember we had 3 black dots on his little body, and I said to you guys, only punch in 2 in the middle of his body and leave the other black dot open. Do you remember? And that dot was for his eyes. So when Lolo is finished here, she's going to show you guys where to put your little googly eye, or where to put your sticker for his little eye. Oh, look at that, guys. Isn't it beautiful? Right. Now she's going to get a sticker. We decided to do a blue eye for our little birdie, and we stuck it right. She's going to show you now. Look at that, guys. There we have a beautiful, oh, it's going. There we go. Beautiful blue-eyed bird. Now, the last step we have to do is to take our wings that Lolo has already put on beautiful feathers. And remember, when you cut it, there was a little strip that you had to cut into the body and into this weird little thing that was his wings. Now what you're going to do is you're going to connect the 2 slots into one another. And then you're going to see how our bird is going to fly. It's going to be beautiful. Are you ready? Wow, boys and girls, look at our birdie. Isn't it beautiful? And now you can put it somewhere where the wind can catch it. And look at that. Lolo's just helping it a little bit along. But there we go. Our little Rio bird is flying. And you know what, boys and girls? Remember, go tell the story about what birds need to do every year so they can survive. They have to do the same thing the same way all the time. They have to migrate, they have to come back, they have to build the nest a specific way, they have to feed the little young chicks so they can grow up, they have to kick them out of the nest so they can fly and start their own families all over again. So that is their way of surviving, by doing the same thing the same way all the time. Continuously, they are doing this. Hey, so constantly, continuously doing the same thing the same way all the time. And then don't forget to do our things the same way, the same things all the time. So remember, when you see your mobile and you see your bird, remember what we have learned this week. Right, boys and girls, that is all we have for you today. So we just have to say, remember how to doodle it. Just doodle it. Doodle kids. Bye.